Hey, everybody. Welcome back. You're listening to The Blodgett Show. Want to welcome everybody here for the second week of Real Talk Tuesdays. My name is Chris. I'm your host, and today's random topic is going to be heavy-hearted due to family. Once again, guys, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you guys joining me on this episode 56, second installment of Real Talk Tuesdays. And I know some of you that are new are probably like, what the hell is that all about? What's this Real Talk Tuesdays? Whatever. Basically, for those of you who are not familiar with this show, if this is your first time here, I've always posted episodes on Tuesdays and Fridays. And it's always been Real Talk. Like random topics. I try to whatever's inspiring me for that day is whatever topic I want to just inspired to talk about that day. It's kind of the way I've been doing it. But I'm also always been had a passion for writing, and so I would write like blog entry. I would do like blogs in the past. Keep journals at home. Back in 2010, I started to write a book, but I had a really bad computer, and so I kind of got out of it because it was one of those where when you're having to put more work, like a lot more work into something, and it feels like it's just you're struggling to do it. Sometimes it'll make you lose focus, make you lose the drive to keep it going, And the problem I had was I was on this computer that was, it got me through school as far as like my college degree, but because I was doing the University of Phoenix while I was out here trucking, I would park for the night at truck stops, and one of the things I would do every night after I parked, I never got my full 10 hours of sleep, as far as being off for 10 hours, because I would have to go online for a couple hours, probably 2 or 3 hours, and take care of whatever homework assignments I had to take care of, get them all turned in, and then I would have to go grab something to eat inside. Some nights I would have to go in there and hit the showers. Sometimes it would be laundry, so it was, and then like I said in previous episodes, I was part of this team on Facebook where we were trying to build a online business, and so I was doing Facebook lives every night too. So for a while I was doing like 5 hours of sleep because of everything I had to take care of out here. So, but when I was trying to write that book, I would literally, to give you an idea how slow it was, I would literally type 2 or 3 paragraphs, and then I would have to stop and wait for the words on the screen to catch up to where I was. Kind of annoying, especially then you see like a couple of errors you have to go back and correct, so then that takes a couple minutes right there because you're trying to go back. All right, I misspelled here, or crap, I completely missed a punctuation over here. Even though technically what I probably should have done is just write and then go back later and fix it, after it's all written. But I didn't want to, didn't really want to get all the way to the end of the book and then go back and have all these errors I had to correct or whatever. It might have made things easier though, but So I got out of writing that book for a while. And I would go back like after I got my MacBook back in like 2017, 2018, something like that. I would go back and write random stuff. When Allie and Salix were gone, I didn't think honestly that I was going to see them again for quite a few years. I figured I would not see the grandson until he was grown up and probably would reach out to us like, hey, Dad, hey, Papa, hey, it's been 12 years. And like, the way I saw that going down was that it was going to be him reaching out and wondering why we were never there, like why he never saw us growing up. And it would be like, well, because your mom didn't want us to see you or whatever, But, thankfully everything is different now. And like Allie's back, and, they're living with us again. Things are good, So, obviously there's always gonna be that. It's like what happened, what went down in my marriage between me and my wife and another guy, whatever. Obviously there's gonna, or just anything things that went down between us, involving other people or whatever. You know, and obviously there's always going to be that scar. You know, but the inspiration for tonight's episode, for tonight's topic and stuff, I found myself thinking about my family, like my side of the family, my parents, my siblings. And one of the things I was thinking about was like, back when we lived in Iowa, we had a situation that happened where we moved, and I was like, my wife had moved ahead of me, and you know, we were moving out to Philly, and so I was literally moving an entire household, like a 4-bedroom house. We had a husky, we had 3 cats. I had 2 young girls with 2 young daughters with me. You know, Allie and Zoe were both pretty young. I think Allie was probably like 7 or something, and Zoe was like 2. Allie might have, I don't know. They were probably about that, you know. All I know is they were pretty, they were both pretty young. Not really a whole lot of help as far as trying to move, you know, pack stuff up and move it, you know, because they're kids that wanted to play, and here I am like packing everything and loading stuff on the dolly and wheeling it out to the moving truck and loading the truck up. Trying to do the best I can, but you know, it's kind of hard to do when you're by yourself. Trying to move a whole house. A lot of, let's just say, you know, we had too much stuff. I got the truck packed, and there was still a lot of stuff in the house. I was like, crap. So it was like, well, crap, what do I do? Do I try to fit it, or do I just close it up and say, well, I'll come back for it, or try to... So I closed it up, because I was like, well, we have to get out of here, because I was basically trying to leave on that night that we were packing. I was trying to get out of there that night. And so I packed the truck up, locked it up, locked the house up, closed all, like, shut all the lights off, whatever, and we left. You know, we had our stuff with us, we had our bags packed or whatever, and we took off. And back then, like, when we were halfway to Philly, I messaged my dad, kind of let him know, hey Dad, I wasn't able to get everything out of the house. Wasn't able to really clean because there's still a lot of stuff in there. I was like, let me know how much it's going to cost if you have a cleaning crew come in there or whatever, storage for whatever stuff's left. I will send money to reimburse you for it, help out with it, whatever. But things didn't work out the way I was hoping, and I guess, I don't know. But my parents and I, we weren't exactly on speaking terms for a while. Because at one point, my mom had come on fan. When we first got to Philly, me and the wife and our girls were at like Panera or something, just getting some food, getting some lunch, you know. And we got a Facebook alert, or rather Aaron did. And my mom had gone on Facebook and basically tagged Aaron and did like publicly posted on her wall, basically attacking her. You know, everything from like, how dare you call yourself a chef, you know, stuff like that. It's stuff that still to this day there's still hurt feelings about it. I've pretty much moved on from it. Like they weren't attacking me, but you know, I ended up blocking most of my family for years because I was like trying to be like, Mom, like this is a family issue. We need to talk about this privately. It's not something you should post publicly or whatever. And it didn't matter. She was just really pissed about the house in Iowa when basically going off on her. So I blocked her. Basically, we deleted the post, all that. Blocked my dad, blocked my siblings, because of course it's like, well, crap, like, you know, you guys are all against me, whatever. So years went by without any contact between me and any of my family, my siblings, my parents, nothing. And we at one point, I think I did unblock my oldest brother and his wife, because I didn't have a problem with them, but I was worried the fact that I blocked my brother Josh, that my sister-in-law Sonia, that things would be a little heated. So I was like, well, I can't leave her unblocked, have her husband blocked. That would just, things. But eventually, I did unblock them, and we started talking. They never had a full-on problem with me or whatever. We were able to talk, and we've been, between all my siblings, my brother Josh and my sister-in-law are actually the ones that I'm connected with the other ones online too, but like, Josh and Sonia are the main ones that I, hear from on occasion and stuff, and, I appreciate that, but at one point I did. I mean, and I did unblock the rest of my family, but I did connect with them on Facebook right away. I unblocked them because I was getting a text message from my parents. My mom basically was like, well, you need to unblock your family and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know about that, Mom, because I really don't want to go down that road again, because I don't want you to publicly attack my wife again. That was just not cool. She's, I'll keep it civil. I'm not going to do it again. Like, okay, then I'll block you. I was like, I understand we all have hurt feelings, and we're still not over whatever happened in the past, but can we please not do that again? Like, we have a problem, let's talk about it. Let's not, So thankfully, had to pause for a second because I hate when you're using a headset and in the middle of something, all of a sudden like your ear itches and you're like, man, this is like not the perfect time to have to scratch and itch on your ear while you have the headset on with literally the earpiece over that ear that's itching. It's like, why can't it be the other one that's itching? I can literally scratch that one and keep talking and not have to be like, crap, hold on, I gotta move the headset, scratch, and put the headset back on. Okay. But so at one point, because I've always had that fear in the back of my mind, like if you're not talking to family members because you have a falling out, then when you start talking again, it's gonna be because somebody died. Like somebody in the family passed away, and that's when everybody starts talking. Because back when I was with my ex, when I had one falling out with my parents back then too. They didn't approve of my first wife, and I'm not gonna lie, like really cared for her, just, being my first wife and stuff, my high school sweetheart. I think there's a part of me that always care for her in a way, because hell, there's time, I'm not gonna lie, like I would never go back with her. Like things are so much better with my wife I'm married to now. But there's times I think about my ex and wonder how she's doing, wonder what she's up to and stuff. But I'm not gonna go down that road. I don't. That's one of those I don't want to open. That's a can of worms I don't want to open. I don't want to explore that. It's like I'm sure she doesn't want to open the can of worms and try to talk to me or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, no, well, we're gonna. I'm gonna stay away from you. But my parents and I didn't back then, when we had a falling out, we didn't talk for like a year and a half, and then my uncle passed away. And I was sitting in a restaurant, I think it was like a Jack in the Box. It was like eating some fast food, and my phone went off, and it was my dad, and I was sitting across my wife at the time, now my ex-wife. But looked at the number and went, oh, fuck. My ex goes, whoa, who is it? I'm like, it's my dad. She goes, oh shit. So I was like, hey dad, how's it going? Like scared shitless answering that call, and he's like, yeah, your Uncle Tom was shot earlier or something, and they think it's suicide, but they're investigating or whatever. I'm like, what? So needless to say, after that phone call, because they scheduled the funeral, and he was telling me over the phone when it was, blah blah blah, that nobody. Sadly I wasn't able to go up for it. Like I guess they weren't really having a family funeral. Like his wife at the time, I guess she was just having a private thing. Nobody else was invited except for her closest family. None of us are like his nephews. But so leaving that restaurant, I remember I handed the keys to my ex and said, "Can you drive? Because I can't." She's like, "Oh yeah, of course." Went to therapy to try to deal with that, because it was my favorite uncle. That no offense, Uncle Kenny, if you ever hear this podcast, I love you too. Just I felt like me and Tom had always been a lot closer than me and my Uncle Kenny have ever been, But Tom was kind of the fun uncle, Kenny was a lieutenant colonel in the Army up until I don't know how long, probably like 10 years ago or something, and he finally retired. But So he wasn't quite as easygoing and fun as Tommy. Of course, I haven't even talked to him since. Yeah, I haven't talked to him since right around the end of the time that my first marriage ended. You know, when I asked him for advice about the military, when I was seeing that things were not going to be not going quite as well for me in life, and I was like, I need to make a change. But didn't really want to join the military, but I thought it, figured I didn't have any options, or didn't have many options. So, but after that point, my parents and I would start talking again a little bit, and then stuff happened with when we lived in Iowa. The thing that I told you about earlier about not being able to clear the house out, and then the whole falling out with the family, and after over the course of however many years, 5 or 6, 7 years, I'd slowly unblock the family, and then like, my parents and I still hadn't really made up. So at one point, I was working. I was driving for a carrier that's no longer around. I think I told you guys about way back in the earlier episodes, called Interstate Distributor, where I was getting paid percentage, and I was on a load board, so I was able to pick my own loads, and, see what I was getting paid on them and stuff. So it was pretty awesome. And I ended up with the load delivered in Dallas, and then I was looking up on the load board to pick my next load, and I saw a load going to Oklahoma City, which is not big mileage. It was like 200 something miles from Dallas to Oklahoma City, and then my parents are west of it, like an hour and a half or something. So I was like, huh. And so I reached out to my dad. Hadn't talked to him in a while. And basically was like, hey Dad, like I'm literally coming up there to Oklahoma City. I'll be delivered on this date. Would you guys have room for a visitor? Like, would you guys be up for a visitor over the weekend? I could come and stay with you guys, like Friday afternoon till like Monday morning, Monday at noonish or whatever. And he was like, yeah, come on over. I'm like, all right, cool. So I started going out there whenever I could get a load out that way. Would stay with them for 2-3 days. My grandpa, my dad's side, was actually, he was living with my dad at the time, so I was able to see all of them. Even my grandpa had dementia, so he didn't actively know who I was, but it's still cool to hang out with them. So slowly was trying to make amends with my parents by going out there making the efforts. And then I would find out like through random text messages from my mom, like we'd get along pretty good, but I think she still has anger and resentment about what happened with the house out in Iowa. Even though I've tried to make up for it, and like I know they blame my wife, even though I've expressed that she had nothing to do with it. She was already gone. It was me. I was the one. I'm trying to take responsibility for it and say that look, I was the one that was there, and I just couldn't get everything done by myself. Like I had 2 young kids with me and a couple of pets, a bunch of crap I had to handle, and it was just hard to do it all by myself. So. And I know we're a lot better now, but I know there's been some random text messages where my mom pretty much had been like, still, you can tell there's still kind of anger from the past. And I'm like, well, Mom, like we talked about this, not much I can do about it. I can't fix it. All I can do is try to move forward. But the part of the thing that gets me though is like I'm trying to actively work on things with my parents, and my wife though, she has refused to basically go out and make any kind of attempt with my side of the family, because she expects my parents to basically approach her and apologize for how things went down, for attacking her on Facebook and stuff. And since they're not obviously going to do that, my wife isn't going to make any efforts on her end. And I'm like, yeah, but one of you has to give. Like, if they're not going to apologize and you're going to say, fuck you, I'm not coming to stop, I don't want to go out there because I just don't feel comfortable going to your house, then basically I'm in the middle going, well, I guess I'll go see my family by myself because you don't want to go. Which kind of, there's that little resentment, because I'm like, I make the effort and go out with you in Kansas to see your family, but you refuse to come and see my family. So interesting. You got the little area in the middle part of these two highways or whatever of 57. Got the 2 lanes on the right, on the going north, 2 lanes going south, and they got the big area in the middle that they've been working on forever. Semi was in there getting hooked to a tow truck, a bunch of cop cars. I'm like, what happened here? So that's one of the things that I like. That's the first part of, or one of the parts of the, you know, the inspiration for tonight's topic about being heavy-hearted due to family, is because I love my parents. I love my whole family. But you know, like I love my parents, and I've been trying to make every effort to be outspoken and communicate, you know, often with them through text, stuff like that. Like I have called on occasion. Like me and my mom haven't talked on the phone, but me and my dad have a couple times over the past 6 months or whatever. But usually we're just me, him, and my mom. We're just texting back and forth. And but so the first part of the heavy-hearted due to family is me wishing that my wife would actually, like, you know, I wish that she would actually be willing to come out there with me, you know, and make an attempt, like try with my family. I can't do anything about it. I've tried talking to her about it. Basically, she just, you know, doesn't feel comfortable going out that way because she feels that basically the reason why me and my ex kind of got divorced in the end was the reason I feel was the reason for it was that my parents never accepted my ex, and eventually my ex just kind of gave up, and she didn't even want to try because she felt that my family hated her. Whereas like my wife right now, she's pretty much felt like my family doesn't like her, my parents don't like her, and so because of the things that happened in the past, she doesn't even want to try to go out there and visit, even though I'm like, you know, it'd be awesome to have like my wife with me, not just me and the kids and the grandkid go out there, because, you know, I was like, but, you know, oh well. Because I, you know, joked with her, like, look, me and your mom, like me and her birth mom, we get along pretty well. But me and her adoptive mom, we get along, but there's a little bit of judgment there. You know, like I mentioned in previous episodes about how I was basically told while we're on vacation that you really should go on a diet. I was like, no, I don't believe in diets. I was like, I've been working on things. I know that it's slow, but the weight's been coming down. I have been getting healthier. So, like, I thank you. I appreciate and value your opinion, but, you know, I'm not going to go out there and just start eating salads all the time, because that's not dieting, or that's not, like, healthy. Yeah, it's healthy food because you're not eating a lot of calories, but the other heavy-hearted part about, you know, the other inspiration tonight for tonight's topic, being heavy-hearted due to family, has to do with the holiday. Because over the weekend, over the Christmas weekend, a lot of my family had gotten together at my parents' house, because my parents, at the end of this month, I guess, have been married 50 years. So they had messaged everybody, and basically wanted all the family to come home for Christmas and then celebrate, you know, their anniversary or whatever. And when I got the message, I told my mom, said I'd love to come, but it's hard to get time off for drivers for FedEx around this time of year, because it's peak season. It's the busiest time of year, because that's when everybody orders so many more packages. We have a lot more stuff to do, so it's hard for us to get time off. I think we possibly can if I put in a request like several months ahead of time, saying, hey, on Christmas, like December, I'm gonna need like that week off because of this. And then technically, I think I could probably get it off, but I don't know if that's the case, or if I just can't get time off at all. So I told my mom that I don't think I could get time off, but you know, I'd love to come. And she's, okay, it's understandable, you know. So, but and I got a message from my dad today when they took a family photo. They had, that was one other thing too. My other brother, when we first had a falling out with everybody else, my other brother Matt, he and I were actually, he had my back, like, you know, wasn't talking to Josh or Sonya, wasn't talking to my parents, and like Matt was still connected with me or whatever, and he was basically like, hey Chris, don't worry, man, I understand shit happens, and, you know, like I got your back, I'm here for you, like, I appreciate you, Matt, thanks bro, you know. And then you know, at some point, I don't know what happened, I don't even remember how this little another argument happened that was related to what happened at the Iowa house. Like, you know, all of a sudden I was getting these messages where Matt was commenting on Facebook and tagging me saying that how dare you treat mom and dad the way you did, you're back in the Iowa house, whatever. And of course I'm like, Matt, that was like this many years ago, and mom and I have started to reconnect, and like we're moving on, like let's stop, like why are you, what, it doesn't even involve you, like it involves me and mom and dad, and we're working through it. So, and you know, went off of me quite a bit more, whatever. I'm a loser. I'm like a horrible brother or whatever. I'm like, wow, okay. Well then, fuck you. You know, have a nice life. Go fuck yourself. You know. And you know, was blocked. I had him blocked for a while, and then after years, of course, I unblocked him, and then I tried to say something about like, yeah, well, Matt, like I have all the family unblocked, like me and the rest of the family, and we're working things out. Like I don't understand why you're holding on to this. Well, yeah, you might have everybody unblocked, but I don't fucking care. Then you're choosing this route. So like I'm not the one saying fuck you to you. Like you're the one kicking me to the curb because something happened in the past that doesn't even concern you. So it sucks because like that ever since then, he and I have not spoken. I did not re-add him on Facebook. I've unblocked him. And my profile is public, so technically he can log and see whatever I post, whatever. But you know, it's like it sucks because ever since then he's had some shit happen. Like before he retired in the military, it sounded like, from what I heard, he had a skiing accident, broke both his legs, was pretty banged up. Had to go through therapy for a long time, you know, stuff like that. So like I really wish I could have, you know, been in contact with him and stuff. But so it was the photo that my dad sent me today had my parents, my 3 adopted younger sisters, 2 from China and 1 from Korea. My brother Josh, his wife Sonya, their daughter Maya, my brother Matt, and his 2 girls. Soul, like S-E-O-L, and I don't know what the other. I have never actually. They're up there. They're probably like, they look like they're like 10 or something, or older. Maybe slightly younger. It's hard to tell. They're not nearly as tall as like obviously us, but I don't know how old, you know. But yeah, it's like I would have loved it. That's the thing. Like part of the heavy-hearted because of family. Take my siblings for instance. The main sibling that I actually have open communication with every so often is Josh and his wife Sonya. You know, I see updates about their family. You know, they have a couple boys. Some of their kids weren't actually. They have like couple. They have 2 boys and then Naya together, I think. And then Josh has 2 girls from another marriage. And one of those girls, I think, has like 3 daughters or something. So Josh's other 2 kids weren't there, along with, you know, the grandkids. But so thankfully it wasn't just me and my family that wasn't able to come. But one of my siblings, you know, one of my younger sisters, Maddie, she was still in school when we were out there. We did our trip a couple years back, and went out to Oklahoma for 4 or 5 days. Went to Kansas for 4 or 5 days, and then we came back to Nashville. But she was still in high school, finishing up. Like she had like a year or 2 left, and it was pretty awesome. Hung out with her. She we were playing this game on Switch called Splatoon. You're basically running around. It's like these little characters running around with these little paint guns. paint rollers, basically. It was pretty funny game. Towards the end of that week, Maddie pushed me. She's like, "Hey, brother, you need to get this game like right now, like so we can play when you get back." And I go, "Well, I can't get it right now, but I can get it like a week. Like next Friday when I get paid again, I'll buy it. And then I'll let you know, and then we can connect." All right, cool, that's awesome. Weird thing is, we got back to Nashville. I got paid. And I did what I said. Like I went online, I got the game, and then I was trying to message my sister. "Hey, Maddie, I got the game. Like send me your friend code on Switch so we can connect and play." Never got any response. Messaged her a couple times. "Maddie, like, you still want to play? Like, we, literally when I've got the game, you want to, like, what's going on?" There's been other occasions since then where I'll randomly message, not about the game, but just like, "Hey, Maddie, hope you're doing well. Like, have Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday, whatever." No response. And I think I've got like one message. Like, I think it was like when it was my birthday, it was like, "Happy birthday, bro. Thanks, sis. Love you too." But then my sister Mindy, shit, I don't even know when the last time I heard from her. It's probably been like 15 years at least, if not longer, since I last saw her. Like, never got any message online, never did any text like, "Hey, brother, just want to check to see how you're doing." And I know it can go both ways, but it's like, if you're not making an effort with me, then I'm hesitant to, just try with you, you express or like it's like Matt, like I'm not gonna message him because he expressed clearly that he hated my guts. And fuck you, leave me, like I never want anything to do with you, whatever. Way back, don't exactly remember what exactly was said. Pretty much that's the gist of it. So I've been like, yeah, I'm not. So I told my parents, I said I would be a little hesitant to, if I was able to, I'd be hesitant to come out there because Matt and I haven't been on speaking terms in like quite a few years, and Mindy and I haven't even spoken probably for 15 to 20 years. And I was like, and to Maddie, I was like, even though I don't feel like we're estranged, but it was weird that she pushed so hard for us to get the game so that we could play, connect and play online then we did, and then I basically got blown off. It's like, all right, what the fuck? Like, I didn't have to buy the game. I could have just come home and not worried about it. And yet I got the game, trying to connect with my sister, and basically got ignored. Like, all right, what the hell, So, really weird, but that's why it's heavy-hearted, because I'm going down the road here and I'm just thinking about them, and I'm going, you know what? Like, I love my family, I really do. Love my parents, really dreading. I know they're getting up there in age, so I dread that day when we lose them. But it's like, you would think being their brother that, but that's the thing. Like, I part of this title could have been Black Sheep. That could have been my title for this episode. Because even though like I've always done the best I could, I've never been quiet. Like the rest of my family have usually done better than I have. Like I only did one term in the Air Force, and then I was discharged because they were downsizing to civilian at that fire department on that base, and it was either basically give a bunch of us, a handful of us, honorable discharges. It was easier to do that than it was to try to transfer us. I was like already working over at the chapel as a chaplain's assistant because of the fact that they didn't need all the help at the firehouse, and I was wanting to transfer and do a career change and do that instead because I was excelling at that. Like, got along great with the guy, the commander over there that I worked under, and got along with the other staff and was able to do all the duties that I had to do as far as the job goes. But the commanders over the base decided that it was easier to just basically discharge. I was like, all right, whatever, But both my brothers retired military, and my younger sisters, Mindy and Jessie, both went through college and graduated. I think Jesse's a psychologist or something like that now. A therapist, pretty much, I think. And Mindy is a nurse. Went and followed my mom's footsteps. Maddie, I don't know what she's doing right now. I know she's in college right now, I believe. But, you know, I was never the golden child for my parents. You know, I've tried my best, you know, but I know, you know, it's one of those things that I've had to live with, where I know that I've never been this perfect example of a kid for them, or they are so proud of, you know. But, you know, I've still tried to make efforts with them, try to go out and visit them and talk to them or whatever, hang out with them, spend time with them or whatever. And then, of course, dealing with my wife and me hoping that someday before my parents pass it, maybe my wife will actually like let it go too and come out and see my side of the family. But it's like, all right, so I have my family over here, and I have my family over there, and you know, I can't bring the two of them together. Aside from I could bring like my kids and my grandkid out there, but like my wife absolutely refuses. Like she doesn't want to go. Like literally, we went to Oklahoma, and while we were in Oklahoma, my wife worked her last 1 or 2 days before the vacation for her started, and then she took off from Nashville and drove to Kansas to meet up with her mom. And then after a couple days, we came up to Kansas and met up with them, checked in the hotel, and you know, got the hotel room, whatever, and met up with the wife and her family, her mom, and all that stuff. You know, it's like I've always tried to make the efforts on her side. Still not as much as she would like. Cause she wanted me to always be. You should call them. Like you should call and talk to Betsy. You should call and talk to Harry. And I'm like, okay, like you have all these things that you want me to do on your side, but yet I just want you to reconnect with my side, and you're not going to do it. So it's one of those things that weighs heavily on me, you know, and you know, especially with the holiday season having passed, and seeing that photo of my parents with my siblings and some of their kids. You know, Mindy doesn't have kids, Jesse doesn't have kids, Maddie's just now in college, obviously, you know. But you know, especially siblings that I'm estranged from, you know. Like, I know Maddie were there when we visit, I know it would be cool, but I'd probably get, at least in person, maybe I'd give her a hard time too. Like Maddie, like, what the hell, like, why'd you push for us to get the game, but then you, like, don't respond to my messages, what the fuck? Oh, I don't know. I didn't even bother. After I attempted a few times to text her, hey, Maddie, so what's the deal, like, you know, and never got a response, so I was like, alright, obviously, like, you know, you just don't want to talk, so... Talkers when you're, you know how it is. Talkers sometimes when you're present with each other, but then like you go back home and then like crickets, like don't hear shit. So I don't know. Oh well, you know, it's one of those things. That's why I was like, it's going down the road. Like, you know, actually, I had Spotify going. And I was kind of singing along to a song, trying to kind of like de-stress a little bit. Cause pretty stressed lately. Especially about finances in general, you know, but also stressing about family and stuff, you know, just thinking about, you know, you think about like, what if I had made this decision? What if I had gone this route instead? And what if I had, you know, hell, there's times where I think, well, what if I had made a different decision when things came to light as far as between things that happened between me and my wife? Like, what would have happened if I had gone a different route? Like, what if I didn't stay and I had left and didn't try to forgive and move on, you know, work on things with her? What if I had just left? The reason why I didn't do it back then was, or whenever I first had to make that decision, was because I was like, well, yeah, if I leave, I'm gonna lose everything. Like, you know, I had my oldest was at work with my wife at the time, and my youngest was upstairs asleep. My grandson was upstairs asleep, and I was like, well, I didn't feel like I could leave because I'd be leaving 2 young kids home alone, you know, and I would basically just walk out the door left. But I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. But I also thought, yeah, but I don't want to go and start over, you know. So toughed it out, which is kind of hard for a couple of years, but just looking back. Ooh, apologies, guys. Got that unavoidable yawn that just happened. But, you know, I look back now, and I guess I'm just thinking a lot about my side of the family. how like I would love to be. Well, one, it's hard to get out and see my parents anyway because where they live in Oklahoma is like 800 miles from where we live. I made that when we went out there on that trip. I made that trip in like 12 hours. My mom literally was like, "How the fuck did you get here in 12 hours? This is supposed to be like 14, 15 hours." Because I was going 85 the whole way. Not the whole way, but there was quite a bit of the interstate where the speed limit was actually 85, surprisingly. So I was going 85. Normally I go 5 to 8 miles an hour over. But when it was 85, I went 85. I didn't go 93 because I thought, yeah, 85 was fast enough. I was like, I don't need to be going almost 100 miles an hour, even though I wouldn't get a ticket. But you know, I was like, 85 is fine. I'm gonna stick with this speed. But so yeah, you know, that's the inspiration tonight, guys, for tonight's topic. You know, a little Real Talk Tuesday, a little interesting stuff for you. And it's funny. That's kind of what happens when sometimes before going ahead and getting one of these episodes recorded is, of course, a little bit I might not know what I'm going to talk about. And then something happens or I'm thinking about something and then all of a sudden I'm like, that would make a good topic for tonight. You know? So that's kind of what happened. Going down the road, I was thinking about my parents, thinking about that picture my dad sent me earlier with a lot of the family except for us. And I was thinking about how heavy-hearted it makes me feel knowing that I'm in the black sheep of the Blodgett family. You know, how, I don't know. I mean, I know my parents love me. What I can't say is I don't know if they would ever say that they're proud of me for where I'm at today. You know, because for a while, my mom, I don't think understood trucking at all. Like, she didn't know for a while that we actually sleep in the trucks. That we have actual, like, sleeper bunks in the trucks. I think she assumed that they're all day cabs. So, like, she's like, man, staying in hotels out there must be, like, really expensive. I was like, Mom, I don't stay in hotels out here. Like, there's a sleeper, there's a bunk bed. And it's power outlets and stuff. Little bunk heater in the back of the truck to where I park at truck stops. I close the curtains, I go back, go to sleep. She goes, oh. So, I mean, they're a little more familiar now, you know. But for a while it was, oh, it's a dead-end job, and, you know. Stuff like that. It's like I wanted to be a pilot, actually, an airline pilot. At one point, I was so close to pulling off that dream when I was with my ex in Texas. I had gotten accepted to this school called Spartan College of Aeronautics in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I think I had gone up there at one point and actually like did a walkthrough of the school. I got to actually like see with the campus and stuff. And I got financial aid set up for everything except for the first year, except for like $5 grand. I was like $5 grand short. And if I just came up with that $5 grand, I would have started. And they told me that as long as you get your financial aid for the start of it, that you're usually okay afterwards. Like you'll be able to get it covered from that point on, and then they help you get a job with an airline after you graduate. So I reached out to my parents back then and I asked them, you know, hey, this is what's going on. I've got like this many thousands of dollars approved in financial aid, but I'm $5 grand short. Would you guys be able to help? My parents refused because they basically told me, you know, being an airline pilot's a dead-end job, and we're not going to support that. Like, well, crap, okay. So I never went. And maybe if I had, instead of doing podcasts out here talking while going down the road as a trucker, maybe I would have been doing podcasts in hotels in between flights, you know, as an airline pilot. Probably then be making a shit ton more money than what I'm making right now. Things would be a lot different. Maybe I would actually be home for holidays, you know, because we'd have I'd be a pilot, so I could probably catch a flight in that direction. And two, money would not be an issue with our family because you're making probably like double what I'm making now at least, you know, as a pilot or whatever. But it's one of those things, like, it was one of the cards that I wanted to play, but it didn't quite work out, so I ended up where I'm at today, you know? But it sucks. Would love to see my family more, but, you know, things just don't work out. Like, either I can't get off work, or I was hesitant anyway because of, for instance, like my brother Matt being there and not knowing, because he hasn't reached out to me either, so I don't know if he's still pissed at me about whatever he's pissed at me about in the past, you know? I don't really want to be in the same vicinity as him and not know for sure, because that's kind of scary. So, but anyway, guys. So yeah, sorry to kind of ramble a little bit, but you know, this is one of those topics that I'm pretty sure that a lot of you could probably relate. You guys out there probably have family issues, you know, siblings or you know relatives in general that you used to be close with, and for whatever reason they got pissed at you, they stopped talking to you, and you haven't spoken to in years. It's like that's the sad reality of it is a lot of situations like that happen, and then you guys only reconnect when somebody passes away. Like all of a sudden everybody then comes together, and it's like when I started reaching out to my parents back in probably like 2017, yeah, it was probably about 2017, I think, when I started booking loads deliberately to Oklahoma with the intent to go see my parents for a couple of days. And usually, admit I wasn't going to get home and see my wife and kids for another week because you know, or for probably another 2 weeks because I would take that time in Oklahoma as my weekly home time, you know, and then I would go back out and I'd do 2 weeks and I'd make it home, so they would miss me for a month instead of 2 weeks, which kind of sucked. But it was like one of those, you know, had to make that sacrifice on the occasional time to come out there and see my folks instead, you know. But, you know, it's one of those things. So, but I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Relatives you were close with that you're no longer close with because you had a falling out or whatever. Like, neither of you is willing to, you know, feels like has the best way I could say it was neither of you have the guts to be able to try to be the one to make first contact, which kind of sucks. I'm not no judgment on my end because I'm right there with you guys. Like, even though that's pretty much what it is. I'm too scared to try to reconnect with my brother Matt, you know. And I don't know how my relationship is with my sister Mindy because, like I said, it's been 15 to 20 years since she and I have spoken. And so I don't know, you know, maybe she was pissed at me about the whole Iowa House thing too, but she didn't say anything online, so I thought that we were okay. But then, like, haven't really been on too big of speaking terms with the majority of my family, so I try. That's all I can try to do. I make the efforts with my parents. I know that they might not communicate with each other too much or too effectively. So, like, I know now that if I message one of them something, I send the same message to both of them. So that way, because one of the fights I had with my mom, she sent me this long ass text message, probably like 2 years back or something. I think it was before Allie and Salix left, so I think it was like a little over 2 years. My mom sent me this long message basically saying she was going to treat her kids the same way they treat her, that she wasn't going to, because she said that I'm the worst of them all, that I'd never sent them like Christmas cards or wish them happy birthday or Merry Christmas. And I'm like, actually, Mom, we do that. Like, I have sent you cards. You know, I messaged Dad and say, you know, like, I might have texted Dad, I might not have texted you, but I messaged Dad and say, hey, Merry Christmas, whatever. But then I don't think my dad would tell her about it, and so my mom would just think that I never sent anything, that we never sent a card or whatever. So now, I deliberately sent them both the same message, so they both have the same information. So neither of them can say I never texted them happy birthday, Merry Christmas, whatever. You know, so that's just how I got to do it. So that way I know, that way I cover my bases. You know. But, so anyway, guys, I'm gonna close it out with that. You know, I mean, I could go on with this topic for a while because it's one of those topics that I have a lot of weight on my chest, and I could easily just talk about it for a while. But honestly, I don't know if talking about it for a long time will help at all, or make me feel any better or whatever. I'm still gonna have the heaviness, still gonna, you know, have that weight on me about the fact that I can't get my wife to come out there with me. I understand why she doesn't want to do it. I understand, you know, why she feels the way she does. I just wish that with me making the efforts with her family, that I would get the same effort with her. But, you know, it's understandable, you know. But, oh well, it's all good. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys being here, for hanging out with me tonight, for listening to my rant. You know, so I hope everybody had a good holiday. Hope, if you guys have family that's still around, I hope that you were able to possibly go out and see them, hang out with them and stuff. Because we never know how much time we have. You know, that's the part that kills me. Is that like I'm trying to get to a position where I can actually go out and see my parents a lot more. Because I know they're getting up there in age. It's like, you know, for all I know, like they won't be around much longer. I hope they will, but I don't want to lose them and then be like, crap, I never got around to being able to go out there and see them. Just like if I lose one of my siblings that I haven't talked to in a long time, then I would really suck too. But it'd be like, are you okay? I'm like, no, you know, I'm really sad, but like I haven't spoken to my sister in 20 years, so I don't know. Like, it's, you know, it's one of those like where I would feel sad if something happened, but at the same time we hadn't talked to 20 years, so it's like we weren't exactly close, you know. But they're still my siblings, you know. So if you can, make time for family, of course. Like if they're still in your life, if they're talking to you, whatever, then try to make it work. You know, try to get out there, especially your parents. You know, siblings is one of those things. Like, you know, if your siblings aren't really talking to you, then you know, I'm one of those. I believe in giving people back the same effort that they give you. Like if somebody blows you off for years or whatever, then why should you make the effort with them? You know, I know people be like, that's not right. You should do it that way. I'm like, well, you know, like, why should one person be trying and the other person isn't? You know? Like, every relationship is two sides. You know, is not just one way, it goes both directions. So, if one person is trying to make the efforts with someone else, then that other person isn't making the effort with them, then it's not really fair. Like, one example is my cousins, my cousins, I guess, were up in Connecticut on my dad's side, and I had grown really close to my uncle and my aunt, and then within a short time frame, I mean, we had visited up there like 4 or 5, 6 times, because it was only like a couple, like 200-mile drive. It wasn't that bad to go from Philly to visit up there. Go up there, stay with him for a couple days, hang out, whatever. Then my uncle and my aunt, within a short time frame, both passed within like a year of each other. Pretty young too. I think they were both in their 50s. Like my aunt was just found on the floor or something, and my uncle was an alcoholic that literally drank himself to death, which really sucks. And then my cousins, me and my cousin Mary were talking for a long time, like chatting every day practically. One of those, you know, we were really close, chatting every day, and at one point, I just kind of drifted. And then basically, the next thing I heard was they're upset with me. He's like, well, you never come out and visit us anymore. I'm like, we came up there like 6 times. Like, you haven't come down to see us. That's kind of what I'm talking about, guys. You know, it's like we were the ones literally coming up to see them, and they were throwing a fit that we hadn't come up there in a while. I'm like, well, one, we're in Nashville, so it's a little bit, it's like probably about 900 miles to them now, because it's like 700 or 800 to Philly, and then 200 miles up to where Connecticut. But now some of the cousins actually in PA now, so it wouldn't be quite as long of a drive. Still 700 plus whatever miles. But again, I came up with my kids. I think my wife came up with me one time to go see them. But then it was me and the kids that would go up there and visit them afterwards. But it's like, again, I was the one that made efforts with you guys before. You guys never haven't made any efforts with us. So it's like, after a while, I kind of said, okay, well, then why am I always the one to do it, you know? It's like, and I know, yeah, we should keep trying. Yeah, fuck that, you know. If I'm the only one making efforts in any kind of relationship at all, you know, then yeah, you know, like that friend D I told you about, you know, that I was the one making efforts with her in the friendship, and she basically was telling me like, hey, I'm so sorry, so busy. And basically was blowing me off, and then finally I basically gave her the taste of her best, and I said, oh, I'm so sorry, so busy, and I basically told her to fuck off. I said, I'll get back, I'll message you sometime, you know, when I feel like it, you know, like I just got some stuff working on myself. Never got any reply back, and I then deleted her off my Facebook list or whatever, and kind of blocked her number on my phone, and basically, you know, deleted her on Instagram and TikTok and everything, because I was like, I don't want anything to do with her, and I figured, well, she reaches out, they'll talk to her, but it was one-sided, so I let her go. You know, she wanted me there when she needed me there, but otherwise she basically didn't have the time to talk to me. So I was like, all right. And when it comes to family, when you deal with that crap with family and stuff, like, you know, that's why there's a part of me that goes, I wonder what would happen if all of a sudden I was really well off financially. Like, say I won the lottery or whatever, got a business going, all of a sudden I had millions to my name or whatever, and all of a sudden then some of the family that I haven't talked to in 20 years all of a sudden would be like, hey brother, hey, my favorite brother, oh my gosh, yeah, fuck off. You know, because like that's why they joke with, like, you know, that people win the lottery and then try to stay anonymous because family that they hadn't talked to in 20 or 30 years will come out of the woodwork and basically all of a sudden like, hey, you were my favorite brother or my favorite relative. Did you know that? I know we haven't talked in a while. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you're just after money. All right, go fuck yourself. Because it's like, all right, would I help those family members out if that's the reason why they came back in my life? And I was like, no, probably wouldn't. Honestly, there's people that I'm like in my life that even if we don't talk very often, I'm closer with them than I am with some of my siblings. You know, and that's sad. You know, that's why they say blood doesn't necessarily mean make you family. You know, like my bro Rico, for instance. He and I have known each other for the past probably at least 4 years, not longer, 4 or 5 years, and we're really close. Like whenever we do talk, we can go on for hours, or you know, whatever. We might not talk for a couple of days afterwards, or we might talk like once a week. But every so often, like at least once or so a week, I'll send him, like, one of us will voice clip the other one. Hey, broski, bro, day shots, and we'll talk for a minute, you know. Same thing with my friend Kirsten, you know. The only person, like, literally, I've never used the word bestie in the past, but like she of course, like, you know, because I was there for her, and I guess I helped her get through a bunch of stuff when she was going through her abusive relationship with her ex. And so, like, she refers to me as her bestie. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, so she's the only one I'll actually say that about. Like, hey, bestie, go to sleep. Yes, I'm weird. But, you know, when you find people that refuse to let you go, you gotta hold on to them too. You know, and sometimes family are the ones that actually kick you to the curb, or just stop talking to you or whatever, and don't, like, and then you know, I've gotten a hard time about it from my family in the past about the fact that I'm not able to come up there when all the family gets together for Christmas. I'm like, well, one, you guys make a hell of a lot more money than I do. Even though I make decent money doing what I do, but like, still being the major breadwinner, I'm taking care of a lot of shit here, and so it's like I can't just take time off, and then, because then usually I'm trying to then catch up on bills afterwards again, you know. I'm sure a lot of you can kind of trying to think of the right word. A lot of you can sympathize or whatever with that, because of, you probably are in the same boat. Like, if you take time off for work, then you come back and like, crap, like, then you're behind on certain bills because you had like a week without a paycheck, or without part of a paycheck. You know, we gotta do what we can though. But anyway, y'all, I quit rambling. I appreciate you guys being here. Feel free to like and follow, let your friends know, share it on your social media if you'd be so kind. I figure on the next episode, on Friday, on the next round of Storytime Fridays here on the Blodge Show, we've got this next story pretty good, but I'm really looking forward to the following week, because I've already got another story written this past week over the Christmas weekend when I was hanging out, because I think and it was actually a pretty relaxing weekend, because I ended up not having to work Tuesday because they didn't have any trailers loaded. So I had Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday off. So it gave me a little bit extra time to go ahead and work on the next story. But so the next story is pretty good, but the one I just wrote this week, then you guys will get a week from after you hear, you know, story number 2. Story number 3 is pretty good, I think. So I hope you guys think so too. Throw that email address out there, lodgeandshowpodcast@gmail.com, and of course I'll throw the link for the submitting tips to support the show if you feel so inclined, as well as I think I'll throw the Lodge and Show email address out there as well, as long as I don't forget. But that's pretty much it, guys. So hope everybody has a great rest of your week. This is Chris. I'm your host. Feel free to join me on Friday for the next round of Storytime Friday, and I hope you enjoy the stories. That's written by yours truly, written by me. So that's me kind of trying to work on my writing a little bit. Always been passionate about it, but trying to like, I guess what they say, practice makes perfect. So I'm trying to do it, and I'm trying to keep doing it so that I can hopefully it'll get easier. I'll get better. Be able to come up with even better stories, and that's me working towards also wanting to be an actual author to actually do my own book eventually. And maybe when I do that, maybe the Storytime Fridays won't be necessarily short stories, but maybe it would be me reading my book for you guys. Like every Friday, reading another chapter or something. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. If you've been with me for a while, thanks for being with me all this time. And if you're new, thanks for tuning in and come back. But anyway, guys, love you all. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Believe me, people have tried. Family is important, but again, just do what you can. Be there for those that are there for you. Do give efforts to those who are giving you the same efforts back. Don't just give of yourself to people that are just going to take and basically not give you anything in return. Everything should be a two-way street, when it comes to relationships. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys on, I believe, episode 57. Hopefully I'll get that right. I think we're at 56 this time, so yeah, should be 57, which will be the next round of Storytime Friday. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one, guys.